Listen to that. Watch. Put it right up against the microphone. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Nice.
The internet's going to love that little bit of ASMR there. Oh, yeah.
that's a sexy sound. I don't care what you say.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Air bump.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Carry Podcast, episode 75 today. And we've got a guest with us today, Amanda Calderon, candidate for U.S. Senate, State of Colorado. And we're excited to have a conversation with you today. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Super excited to have you.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're ready?
So we've had a lot of gubernatorial and Senate candidates on, and we're excited to talk to you and hear your platform and what you're all about. But first things first.
Yeah, first things first. We scroll so that you don't have to, and we've got some pretty heavy-hitting subjects today. Starting with none other than Elon Musk this morning. He shared this. This is just a conversation that I thought is very relevant to what's happening in Colorado right now. This conversation took place a little while ago, and let's just pull up the video.
Well, it goes back to when I found out that my daughter, who was 13 years old, just starting high school, was secretly socially transitioned at school, meaning that the school started to call my daughter by a male name, use male pronouns. And when I called the school and told them to stop, that next week, Child Protective Services was at my door. The next day, the police. And that was an immediate alert to me that the school wants to know better than wants to parent my child, and that if I didn't follow and call my daughter a boy, that Child Protective Services may come and take my child away. And at the time, I didn't really know how dangerous the situation was. I later learned that parents in Southern California had lost custody of their children because she wouldn't transition her daughter, she wouldn't call her daughter a male, and CPS took her child. So now I knew that I already had a black mark, and a few months later my daughter ran away. And the normal thing for a parent to do is to ask law enforcement to help find your child. She's 13, female, alone at night. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't make that phone call because I know that there's already a file opened up on me and that Child Protective Services can swoop in anytime and take my child.
So many things going through my head, at this moment. Is this a kind of blackmail? Like, how do you describe this scenario that if you don't basically follow what these people are demanding of you, you might lose your child?
Well, it's coercion at its highest level. It's telling a parent that you either need to transition your child or you don't get to keep your child.
I thought that was the strongest statement. I'm going to stop it right there because that is definitely what this is society and from the top down bills and policies that are in place saying either transition your child or you don't get to keep your child. We have a bill in effect in Colorado that states exactly that. And I don't know, I haven't heard, at least from Colorado, I haven't heard any extreme examples of CPS getting involved and people getting their kids taken from them yet. But as the law stands in Colorado, this is the reality in Colorado. And it's very alarming. This is happening. And there's multiple examples of it. And even whenever Elon shared this, he said same thing happened to a friend of mine. So this is happening in blue states. And Colorado has got some very blue laws. And if we don't get things changed, we're going to see parents start to lose their children because of these types of laws. That's my concern. That's, I believe, where we're heading. A lot of people are saying, well, law enforcement's not going to enforce it. Well, there's probably people who were saying the same thing in states like California, and here we are with people literally losing their children because of these laws that try to make kids have to be transitioned and parents lose their right to have a say. It's unthinkable.
Amanda?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, how disturbing. How disturbing. I know that that's a thing. I know they've been transitioning kids a lot longer than people are willing to admit. My sisters went to Boulder Valley School District. I did as well, actually. And when they were in elementary school, they had a classmate that came home and asked me one day, what does it mean and why is there a kid saying that they want to be something else? And they were chemically transitioning in elementary school.
And this was what year?
Oh, this was 2012.
Okay.
So this was a long time before this really blew up and was a discussion. It's disgusting.
This is, I have a hard time with this stuff, by the way. Jared and I have talked about this an inordinate amount on this podcast together. We talked about it with guests. We've talked about it with candidates. But this is not a partisan issue.
Yeah.
This is something, I mean, it's a partisan push by the liberal left. I understand that. But child, evil, those two things never go together for me.
Yeah.
Protect your children at all costs. And this, I hadn't seen that yet. I was actually kind of levitating over here in the chair. I'll be honest with you. When she said, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like you're afraid to report that your kid is missing because you're already labeled? Labeled for what?
Yeah.
Like you had it's your child.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's like people don't, and if you don't understand this, there's something mentally wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're imbalanced. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
I'll own it.
I think there's quite a few people that they don't get the airtime that this gets, but kids that do transition because of the influence in their schools and from their parents, and they are deeply traumatized for the rest of their lives when they get to be older. There's quite a few people speaking out against this, the people that have been put through it.
Yeah, the whole world should be angry right now
Yeah.
at this. This is something right now that everybody should be fired up over.
Oh, yeah.
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 I got to take a breath. That one actually hit me hard. I wasn't expecting that. I thought you
Well,
were doing something
it's-
with Elon Musk. I didn't realize it was something he shared.
Well, I mean, Elon has his own kid that he's
Yeah.
had his struggles with that's decided to
Yeah.
go woke trans. And I mean, you can see Elon get emotional whenever he talks about it. Like, just levels him. And rightfully so. I mean, this is telling of top down just evil that's out there trying to desensitize, trying to demoralize our children and make them grow up to just be identityless.
Yeah.
Slaves.
Confused.
Yeah, grown up, just grow up to be never even grown up, totally arrested development from childhood, just
Yeah.
never knowing what's right, what's wrong, never knowing who they are, who they were, never thinking that who they were born to be
Right.
is good enough. It's the greatest lie that there is. But this definitely ties, I think, very well into other issues we're going to talk about that are going to bring it more home to Colorado. We're going to continue on the scroll. And next on the scrolls, we have this. I'm not sure if you guys saw this or not.
Yeah.
This is pretty wild. This is our unofficial official bid to DCO official to base their next movie in Colorado. Here we have photos. One is a registered sex offender, Solomon Galligan, arrested April 2024 after going to Black Forest Hills Elementary School's playground attempting to grab a student. Charges were dropped due to competency. And then we have former state senator Sonia Lewis sentenced to 2 years of probation, 150 hours of community service for forging letters in support of herself during an ethics investigation, convicted on 4 felony counts. We've had so many different people sit in these chairs and tell us how much of a problem they believe crime is in our state.
Right.
Crime is a problem, but more importantly than crime is this is clearly a problem judicially.
Sure.
Nobody's getting held accountable. People are not even getting slapped on the wrist. They're just getting let go. They're just getting their charges dropped. I can't imagine somebody getting caught in the act of trying to grab a student and then the charges get dropped. I can't imagine that.
I'd
Well-
be livid if I was a parent right now.
And then you have her arrested for what? Was it?
She's got 2 years of probation, 150 hours of community service for forging letters in support of herself during an ethics investigation. Convicted on 4 felony counts.
So she, and I make no justification, but she lied, created a false document to self-support, make herself look better than I'm reading between the lines. Obviously, I don't know the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have somebody who's a child predator.
Yeah.
Both should be punished. One should not be sitting here free
Yeah.
ever. What was the girl's name on the subway from Ukraine? You guys remember? Is it Zelensky something? No, that's the Ukrainian president. Anyway, the girl on the subway, the guy that attacked her had 14 felony convictions.
Yep.
And he was out of jail.
Yep. Yeah,
Out
it's
of
the same
jail.
thing with that girl whose head was smashed in with a rock.
Yeah.
Riley, I believe.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just story after story. These people are not held accountable.
That dude looks Somali to me.
Yeah.
He does look Somali, and apparently we have a pretty healthy Somali population in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's what I've heard.
Didn't know that.
I don't know what kind of Somali programs exist out there, but I'm very interested to figure out if there's some shenanigans going on in our state. Maybe somebody out there listening who's got a couple connections can maybe do a little digging.
What's up, Nick?
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Wait, let's get Nick on the podcast.
That would be awesome.
Would
I'd
be
love
fun.
that.
Ugh,
Continuing here,
people and
this
kids.
is another one bringing it to Colorado. Scrolling for 5 minutes on X to see that in Colorado, 1 in 10 reported rapes, sexual assaults result in an arrest. 1 in 10.
Yep.
We have a crisis in Denver with restaurants closing due to asinine policies like a 16.27 minimum wage. Scandals across multiple school districts involving alleged corruption and teachers being charged with sexual misconduct. And yes, one of them is in Jeff Coe. Previous state senator Sonia Lewis was convicted of 4 counts. We just talked about her and let off with just probation. Constitution hater Senator Tom Sullivan and his insane gun barrel bill passed committee. And she goes on jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, to say, my state is just crushing it all the while. Governor claims what a success Colorado is on the climate change front while ignoring the dumpster fires in all other areas. We have some serious issues in this state.
Uh-huh.
Thank-
That's Logic and Liberty, Aaron.
Yes,
Oh,
logic
I
and liberty.
love that girl. Oh, she's
Yeah.
awesome. I just did a thing with her recently. She's always right on point with her what she talks about. She's a very smart girl, and yeah, we all know what's happening with our Second Amendment in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tom Sullivan's helping that
yeah,
dumpster fire. I like that dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
That is a dumpster fire.
yeah.
So, Second Amendment, I like that you're bringing that up. What do you see in your race, in your candidacy? First of all, what motivated you to run? Second of all, what issues do you think you're going to be able to help potentially solve if you win that seat?
Yeah, I got motivated to run pretty quickly, second week of January, when my husband and I were attacked by lunatics on the left. And the more I tuned into what's going on politically, I think I've been kind of like a lot of people, just living my own life and not really paying attention to all the toxic, evil stuff that's going on in our state. I was hearing it, but wasn't really paying attention. And so we were kind of thrown into this, and it has been nonstop research, nonstop reading, nonstop listening to things. And I can't believe I didn't get involved sooner. Like, I like what you're doing, let your voice be heard and engage other people, make connections. But yeah, no, stuff like this, issues with the Second Amendment. Last time I went and bought a gun, it took a lot longer than it did before, several years before. And they do different questions that now you have to fill out a long questionnaire. It's just, they want to take our Second Amendment rights. That's just one of the many, many issues. So yeah, I have a lot of work to do if I'm able to be elected. Gun rights is a very important one. Same with mutilation of children.
Mm-hmm.
Those things should not be allowed. I do think it'll be difficult for a Republican to win in Colorado, but I've had some people that identify as liberal Democrats say that they would vote for me because I'm born and raised here, and some of the issues are just common sense and they're fair and they're reasonable. And I think even some Democrats realize that this is the result of the left. And I think some Democrats are even kind of coming to our side.
Prostitution bill just got knocked down. I read, so that got killed.
Thank goodness.
I think they're trying to do a revision of it, but that's where Colorado's headed. So you brought up an interesting point, though. You said I didn't like I knew, but I didn't know, and I wish I had dug in deeper a long time ago. Do you think that's kind of a general consensus that what people do?
Yeah, it's the same reason people say I avoid talking about politics at Thanksgiving. People don't want to talk about the overwhelming. It's kind of overwhelming to be in politics, and I think I'm just pretty much like everybody else. It's not that I didn't want to see the issues; it's that we tend to be absorbed in our own lives, and that's just the way it goes.
We had a candidate on recently that said, I would rather have my, how do you say it? I'd rather have my fingernails pulled out one at a time than run in this race. But I'm going to run in this race because if I don't, Colorado is lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's metaphorically, it's a pretty powerful statement because it's true. I mean, we're in a lot of trouble in this state and people know it.
Yeah.
But you made a comment that Democrats are starting to wake up. They're starting to see it because they see the extremism in this.
Yeah.
All three of those stories, by the way, really caught me sideways this morning. I don't know why. I do not like stuff when it comes to hurting kids.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't understand why we have a war on our children right now. What do you see that? I mean, do you see that here in Colorado? You said you've been digging in and researching. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I know that this is an enormous issue in our state because I attended the very schools that indoctrinate the kids. And nobody can't tell me it's indoctrination. I went to Boulder Valley School District. My siblings did as well, my younger siblings. They're 12 and 13 years younger than me. So they're Gen Z. They've gone, and they're significantly younger. It's been more recent. And it's bad. I mean, nobody could tell me that it's not indoctrination. Go to Boulder, and how many
so what are
kids
they
in
doing?
a class are trans? Oh, they'll have little things, gay pride flags in the corners, no American flags anywhere in any school. They'll encourage girls to be masculine and to speak up over boys. They encourage boys to be quiet and not to be masculine, be soft and gentle. And it's just, in my opinion, from a very early age, they're taught kind of to sit down and shut up. That girls' opinions are very important. Girls go first. But it's not in the way of teaching children how to be polite and to be a gentleman. I think it's to teach young men to be weak. Really. I mean, it's just all the way down to the teachers encouraging boys and girls always to be put in things together. Everybody knows that boys are very different from girls, and boys don't play the same as girls. I even had a few teachers say that in gym class, my dad, he played a lot of football when he was younger, and went to college for it. And anyway, he would have gone farther if he didn't have injuries. But so he taught me how to throw football really well. And I had teachers say they tried to recruit me to play and be the quarterback on an all-male football team. That's just one of many examples where they try to include girls and then they'll teach boys to be gentle.
So would you call it like a soft pedal or a boundary probing to where you're testing, see how far you can go, keep pushing, and then ultimately then that becomes accepted, and then we go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing?
Absolutely.
What do you think is the why behind that? Like what is the gain? This is something that I find fascinating. We've talked about this before in previous episodes. Why?
Yeah, I think it's just really to essentially break down civilization. If you are weak, if you don't have strong men, your values in a community, in a society collapse. And women run things. Everyone knows that women run things very differently. Women I don't care if you're on an executive level or not. You think very emotionally and feelings based, whereas men tend to look at the issues and reason with logic. So you have feminization, look at judges, lawyers, doctors. We actually have more females getting into these really high profile professions in America, and you'll see the feminization of that whole industry. You'll see judges that are more unfair, that are more biased, that aren't as level headed. And in my opinion, they're not as fair because they don't have a masculine mindset. And so I think it really the reason I wanted to step up in this race is because they're all men. And I know that in Colorado, having been born and raised here, I'm not sure Republicans stand such a chance to win if a man, I'm not sure. Colorado is very weak when it comes to wanting a strong man to be in charge.
So do you see any, how do I say it? Do you see a strong, so obviously you have a campaign, you want to win.
Yeah.
Do you have competitors on either side of the aisle that you see as strong leaders?
I do see, I think Baisley and Marquette are strong leaders.
Okay.
I think, and this is terrible to say because I revere men. I really respect men. I think they're the foundation of society and civilization. But I think it's Colorado, and Colorado is very liberal. And actually their strength is a disadvantage.
So the reason I ask is, I know Mark Baisley. I mean, he's a very honorable man, very good man. I think his values are strong, leadership is strong. Phil Weiser terrifies me.
Yeah.
He is the polar opposite of anything that I would consider to be a man, other than I know by chromosomes he's a man. But every time I listen to him talk, everything that he says, I go, that's evil.
Yeah. He's like Hillary Clinton, but a male.
But a male, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's more manly than he is.
Let's double down. Let's double down though, because you just asked what's the why behind this, and you said, "Well, I think it's because they want to see societal collapse." Let's go even further with that, because there's still the why behind that, and I mean, we can dissect this and go further and further and peel back layer after layer after layer, and that's exactly what I want to do just right now. Asking you, go further with that. What is the why behind that? Okay, they want to collapse society. They want to make it to where there's weak men. There's this emasculation. But what is the why behind that? Why do they want society collapse? Why are we seeing people make pushes in policy and in education to try to collapse society? Why?
Yeah, I think if you look at history, when you look at takeovers of countries, you'll see that any indoctrination that happens starts in the school. It starts slowly. It weakens whoever the intended target is, and then a takeover could happen. And so, not to get too much into like things that people consider conspiracies, but I think if you look at where the money is, like what was it, 96% of people in senator positions in the U.S. are funded by AIPAC. You just look at the money. Where are their agendas, and where are people receiving money? And so then you can start to kind of question, what's the intent? Why do we have another country? I know a lot of people will say, well, they're our greatest ally, or there's other reasons, maybe it's military, that are strategic behind their investment in politics in America. But it seems to me to be kind of questionable.
Well, I would say that what you just said, that would be what our answer continues to go to, not because of necessarily money, but because we know the Bible makes it very clear that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
So that's our continued why. We know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but this is very much a spiritual fight, and there's spiritual wickedness in high places. There's evil out there, and the Bible makes it really clear. The root of all evil is the love of money. So that being the case, for you to point out let's look at the money and where the money's flowing to. Well, there's a lot of people out there that love money, and they're willing to sacrifice others because of that pursuit and love of that money. They love money more than they love people. And that's the opposite of the gospel. That's the opposite of what we're called to do as Christians, is to love others above ourselves.
Yeah.
and to love God more than we love money. You can't serve God and money. You can only serve one. And I think that that is very telling, that whenever we continue to just peel back these layers of what truly is wrong, what's the why? Well, if we get to that point where it's money, and we know that money is the root of all evil, clearly the show, the pattern, what's being revealed here is that this is evil. Evil's trying to collapse society. Evil's trying to emasculate men. Evil's trying to destroy what would potentially be good leaders, both women and both female and male leaders, trying to destroy what would be good leaders before they're even given an honest chance at being developed into those leaders, trying to destroy that potential while they're kids before they've even grown up. And it's just evil. I think that that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's evil. It's evil. And that's the fight that we're up against right now, is how do we stop evil? And there's a lot of people that I think are waking up to this and seeing that this needs to be stopped. This needs to be changed. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are doubling down, and there's a lot of people that, whether it's out of ignorance, whether it's out of malice, there's a lot of people going along with these policies, going along with these bills that are being passed that are supporting the mutilation of children, which is really alarming, because we do see there's two sides, and there's a side that is siding with evil, and then there's a side saying, we've got to do something about this. We have to protect our kids. We have to get on the right track. And that's where we're at in Colorado. I think that 2026 is an absolutely crucial year to determine where we're heading as a state. And this year is going to determine a lot about how the future looks in this state. So I think that with that, let's just continue, because I have a couple more scrolls that we'll get to, and we'll turn to a little bit more of a faith perspective. But before we do that, let's come up for air for a second. Let's have a little bit of fun. We ask all the candidates. We have a segment on the show where we like to just kind of talk about gear. We talk about daily carry, and we talk about what we prefer to carry. You've already talked about guns and your stance on the Second Amendment. So we'd just like to ask you, in your experience, I know off air, we haven't talked about it on air, but you had talked about getting your concealed carry permit and all that here. So out of everything that you've shot, out of all the guns that you've shot out there, what have you come to prefer? What is your preferred carry?
Actually, I think it's a piece of junk gun that my husband and I picked up. Let's see, I'm not sure what the name was. Just a 45. It was like the junkiest brand. I'm not sure why, but I ended up having really good aim with it.
Does it fit good in your hand?
Fits great in my hand. It's a little bit large. Right now I've got a 357 that's much smaller just because it fits in my purse, but I like the 45. It shoots very smooth, and there's not a lot of kickback. And most guns I'll end up with, cuts on my hands from it. So, yeah.
Is it a 1911? Does it have a hammer?
Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it.
I'm really curious here.
Oh,
really
it's a High Point. It's a piece of junk.
Okay, you just validated your claim. You are spot on.
It's a High Point.
It's all right. Enough said. But it is the round of God.
It's God's caliber.
It's God's caliber, not God's gun. Let's just be clear on that.
Not God's gun.
But look, if it goes bang and it fits good in your hand and it shoots every time,
Yeah.
the name,
I thought that was funny because everyone was like, "Don't buy that gun." It was used at like Cabela's or something.
You got that gun for like $99.
I started saying, I would start
$91.99. You got
Wow.
it. So
good guess.
yeah, my husband was like, I think those things were great. You could run it through the dirt and it'll still fire. So when we did it at the shooting range, everyone else had these real nice guns, a couple grand per gun, and they kept getting jammed. And we shot off 200 rounds, no problem.
All
Right in a row. I don't know. It did me good, and I had good aim. So
There's a lot of channels that do torture tests on all kinds of different guns, but I've seen a lot of torture tests on High Points.
Yeah.
Some of them comparing them to Glocks and stuff. They are, you can say what you want about them, but they do seem to be
go
built
bang.
like tanks, and
Yeah.
they continue to go bang.
They do.
That's interesting. I don't own a High Point. I've heard a lot about them. Everybody likes to talk about High Point, but I mean, if it's cheap and it works, then
yeah,
it's
go
great.
for it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. That's right. And I like the fact that you like a 45
Yeah.
And a 357.
and 357.
Yeah, I haven't shot that one yet, but
You haven't shot your 357?
no, this one's my husband's. It just is like for like when we go places and you really want something tiny, it's like a pocket gun.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
probably like, I don't know, it's probably a snub nose like Ruger 357 or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a revolver, by the way.
So do I. That's what I'm
Yeah.
carrying today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should I
go
show?
ahead.
Should I show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I?
You came in hot with it, so
Well, I
So
had
to-
it
so
on
to
the last
speak.
episode, and I didn't get to pull it out and
Yeah.
show them. So I figured I'd just show them. It's been on the show before, bunch of episodes ago.
Mhm.
But here it is, Colt King Cobra. This thing's awesome. I love it. I was a Smith and Wesson guy for a long. I would still say I am, but I do love this. It took me a little while to get used to the action because it's pull back rather than push forward.
Yep.
But it is smooth. Listen to that. Watch. Put it right up against the microphone. Oh yeah.
Dude.
Dude,
Nice.
the internet's gonna love that little bit of ASMR there. Oh yeah.
That's a sexy sound. I don't care what you say.
Yes, it is. So this thing's awesome. It's fun. I love wheel guns, but I also just love 357. I have a lever action Winchester in 357. I just love shooting that gun. It just slings the cartridge right over, and you just feel like there's no way you can shoot it and not feel like a cowboy.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Nice.
I love it.
I absolutely love that anytime we get somebody that comes in with and talks wheel guns, my giddiness level goes up a little bit.
Yeah. You gotta check that one out.
Now, I'm just carrying a Springfield XTM. It's a full size 3.8, so it's a lot of capacity. But I'm a Springfield guy, so because it fits my hand. I love the
Okay.
fit in my hand.
Okay.
But I've got to have 20 revolvers.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Oh,
everything,
man, I'm
everything all
jealous.
the way up to. I don't have a 500. That's probably the last one. I have a 460, 454, and everything on down.
Nice.
Yeah, I can stop a bear or I can stop a rabbit, respectfully.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right. Well, should we do a scenario? Should we do one? Should we?
Do you have
what
one?
if it pops off?
Are you going to put me on the spot again? Because
I don't know.
I had to come up with the last two, and it was very awkward.
Was it awkward?
Yeah, because I
I'm
wasn't
so
prepared.
sorry, Mike. I don't want it to
Well,
be
no,
awkward
in the
for
moment,
you.
but it should be good because like this is what I teach. Like in the moment, you're supposed to be able to go with it and say, "What do you do?" So
Yeah.
I don't want to fail at my own.
I have one.
program.
I do have one.
All
I was
right.
thinking about one that I thought would be fun. And that is just you're being hunted. Okay, right now, clock's starting. There's somebody that's is coming for you. You got to figure it out.
Like Hunger Games Maze Runner, or like hunted, like one-on-one, like they're coming after you.
There's a team of people coming
Ooh,
after you.
Red Dawn.
You've been put on the hit list.
Red Dawn. This is
No, not Red Dawn. That's full on invasion.
Oh, okay.
You can team up with what? But here's the thing. This is let's pinpoint this.
okay.
You've been put on a hit list.
Ooh.
Maybe the cartel.
Been there. Okay.
Cartel's very angry in Mexico right now. I
Yep.
don't know if you've seen that or not.
They get very angry.
They're angry with you,
I know they are.
and they're coming for you.
Yeah.
All right, that's the scenario. What's your first steps immediately? You know you're being hunted. You've just been alerted. What you doing?
Ooh. I'm going with at least one Overwatch gun, probably 6.5 Creed more. I'm running 2 M4 platforms. I'm running all 3 Hellcats. Probably 1,000 round of 223, 1,000 round of 9. It's going to go in my truck. I'm going to go to stationary high ground that I know I can control. I have 2 locations that I would go to in Douglas County immediately, or go far up into Fairplay if I need to. And then I'm going to go hunting in the woods on 12 acres at the highest point in Fairplay.
Wow, that was fast.
I'm
Are you-
going with
I've
him.
never
I'll just go with
I've
him.
never thought this through. I've never thought this through. Yeah, I play that scenario out a lot, actually.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
Do you play that scenario out?
I think that most men play this scenario
Yeah, yeah.
a couple
It's fun to
times.
talk about,
Every
yeah.
once in a while, it just
once
comes
a
to
week in my
mind.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drive down the road and I just talk to the window. Do you ever do that? Like I'll just have good music on, and and then all of a sudden I'll just go into a thought of like, oh, I wonder, and then my brain will just start. Men are weird that way.
No, I think it's terrific.
Do you?
Yeah, I'll talk to my husband about this stuff all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no.
You wait till
Yeah,
I
we'll
get on
talk
my
about it.
wait till I do my truck. You said you watch my truck videos.
I do.
I'll do that on that today. That'll be my truck video today.
Okay.
I'll be like, so we had Amanda Calderon on today, and yeah, we're gonna have a We're gonna have a 2.0.
Don't mess with that lady. She knows exactly what she's going to do if she's hunted.
Yeah. At a bare minimum, she's showing up at my place and we're going hunting together.
That's right.
The difference between you and me is I'm making a bunch of phone calls like immediately. I'm cashing in all the favors. I'm like, hey, you remember whenever you needed that thing? Like, I need some reinforcements here. I need some Overwatch. I like how you said your gun was going to be your Overwatch. Well, I'm calling all the buddies that I know I can call. Just be like, hey, I need you.
Did you think I was shooting all those guns?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
You didn't specify.
I didn't. If I give away, all right, fair enough. There's 2 people would have been going with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
2 people.
There would have been 2 people going with me.
I'm calling everybody. I'm getting together my own little cartel.
Well, one of them's up there in that wall, and he was a Navy
you better
SEAL.
be able to get him here fast.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. That's I can hold high ground for a long time. Yeah, I'm not. That's not my concern. But yeah, he'd be my phone call. Yeah, we've worked this out. We've talked this through. Yeah,
Be prepared. You probably should.
yeah.
Too much fun. Okay. All right. So, Amanda,
Yeah.
let's talk about you for a little bit. Let's talk about you before we finish out this scroll, because we're going to end this scroll and it's going to go into a little bit deeper of a dive on the topics here. We've already hit some hard topics, but we're going to talk even deeper level in a minute. But before we do that, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your run. Let's talk about your background. And you've already talked a little bit about, being raised here in Colorado, born and raised. I'm also a native. I'm born and raised in Colorado, 2nd generation. And I love Colorado. I hate the direction that we've been heading this past couple of years, but I love the idea of people fighting for this state and getting us on track. And that's a big reason why me and Mike are sitting here doing what we're doing. And that's because we're doing everything we can with what we have to be able to be a voice of reason and just be advocates for positive change here in Colorado and, Lord willing, nationally, because we do have people who listen, not just in Colorado, but in the country. And we've actually had some hits internationally, which is interesting.
Costa Rica yesterday.
Nice.
I got a text. Yeah,
Nice.
text from Costa
I
Rica.
love it.
So, but that's just to say, I get all that. I get being a Colorado native, wanting to fight for your state. But what's your background? What experience do you have? What are you bringing to the table, so to speak, for this run for Senate here in Colorado?
Yeah, that's, I think, like a very important question. Well, for starters, obviously, yeah, like I said, a native. I grew up very young, being involved in volunteer work and community service, basically, so through my church. And so I spent a lot of my younger years before I could work volunteering in like the homeless shelters in Denver. And so I thought that was an interesting experience because I did that all the way up until my 20s. And I got into nursing. So I went to school at UCCS in the Springs and got a bachelor's of science in nursing. And I worked in nursing like way too much. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I climbed the ladder fairly quickly because of that, because I'm a hard worker, and got into administration in healthcare, and you get to see all the flaws. When you work in every department, you get to see billing, what it's like dealing with insurance. Yeah, it's
That's an evil word to
eye-opening.
me.
I know, yeah, and it's a big relevant issue right now, especially with Obamacare being phased out. So, yeah, I had unique experiences in healthcare and in the management of that and facilities, and then I fell very ill with lung cancer, and I spent many years. Basically lost all of my mid to late 20s to that. And so everything kind of fell apart for me for quite some time. I ended up in a coma for about a week. And yeah, I'm not sure how I survived that. But yeah, slowly after I had the tumor resected, it took me a few years. I was on oxygen for a couple years, but I got back into shape and decided, what am I going to do with my life? I can't really be in healthcare anymore. Went back to school, got a master's in business administration, and then studied AI and cybersecurity and a few other things, real estate on top of it. And so I feel like, it gives me a very different perspective because I have worked in the biggest industries that affect the population in our state. Small businesses, my husband and I had an LLC I helped my husband with a 50c3 or 501c3 nonprofit in helping kids learn trades, like basically foster and homeless kids, people that are in need
Amen.
of learning something. So my husband has a really good heart. I met him back then, and so we worked on nonprofit work, and then started an LLC. We're in construction now. Started a corporation, a seed company, and that is still in progress. But so I understand like how policies really affect everyone on a very personal level. I feel like the state of Colorado is not small business friendly. We see like firsthand exactly everything that's required for corporations and small businesses to exist. And then, too, my experience in healthcare, I see policies and regulations and how that affects people because it affects billing. And it's just not, it's not friendly, it's not workable, it's not like sustainable for the middle class and lower class. I think, yeah, you get Democrats always talking about helping the middle class, and they're all for their socialist ideas and everything. But in reality, I think if you get a good Republican in the U.S. Senate, in the Senate seat, in the governor's seat, they can really lower taxes, cut regulations, and cut spending, and that's where people are affected. Not where Democrats are saying, costs can be lowered. So I think, yeah. I bring a different background.
You definitely just covered a lot of ground.
Boy,
I got a lot of follow-up questions.
Uh-oh.
First of all, you said that you volunteered in your younger years, a lot of homeless shelters. Did you ever work at Urban Peak in Denver? You
Nope,
heard of that one?
Salvation Army.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Urban Peak is a youth shelter in Denver. Similarly, whenever I was in my teens, I did a lot of volunteer work outreach there, and we had a bus route bringing kids to church and different youth programs and
Oh.
stuff. So Urban Peak is one that I immediately thought of, because whenever you said that, I thought, man, I wonder if she knows about Urban Peak.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. And then after this is whenever you had to have your fight with cancer.
Yeah.
So mid to late 20s, you said,
Yeah.
was cancer.
I started getting sick, and when I was in nursing school, I started getting pneumonia a lot, and I got H1N1, the good old swine flu, when
Yeah.
I was in nursing school. So,
Wow.
they say usually if you get a respiratory virus that really affects you. So if you got COVID, when COVID hit, if you're going to get lung cancer, look 10 years out. And for me, it was almost to the month, 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had lung cancer, which is obviously a pretty serious diagnosis. And you said you didn't know how you survived.
Yeah.
Grew up going to church. You grew up serving, volunteering. I think it's pretty safe to say you had people praying for you during that time, right?
I hope so. I feel like I kind of went through that battle. I had a couple people that had my back, but you'd be surprised when things fall apart. And I went from, being the assistant director of nursing at 25.
Wow.
And so I worked my butt off. I was a workaholic. And I made a good living and a name for myself. And you'd be surprised who leaves when you lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
I don't think Jared would be surprised at all.
No.
I wouldn't. I
Has
get
that
it.
happened to you?
I know what it's like to feel like you're fighting everything all at once and almost by yourself. Thankfully, I had my wife by my side, but I know the feeling very well of people letting you down, and people who you think are going to be there, ride or die till the end, that just up and quit. I know that feeling very well. But this episode's not about me. We have you on as guest, so we're not going to go into my story so much. But I do want to say, I do think that it is not by happenstance or coincidence that you were able to fight that and beat that. And that's where I was getting at with the prayer, because you said, I don't know how I survived. What I have found is there's a lot of people that'll say that, but I think there's also a lot of people that'll say that knowing full well there's a reason that they're on this planet walking this earth. And it is a reason that is bigger than them and bigger than their circumstance.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of friends that have incredible testimonies. And I mean, even me sitting here, I have a testimony of being here against all odds in my own way. Haven't had to fight any diagnosis like that, but I mean, even as a baby, I was stillborn. I've shared that testimony. My wife, we've gone through a lot, and I've thankfully, against all odds, we're still here. We're still standing. We've fought back in our own way. We've fought back the darkness. We fought against evil, and it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything we can for the businesses, the podcast, everything and all that we have, walking in that purpose of we're not here just to serve ourselves. We're
Right.
here for a reason.
Right.
And that's why I asked the question. That's why I put it into that light, because you're running for Senate here in Colorado, and it's clear that you want Colorado to change its course, to have a course correction. And there's not very many people that are willing to stand up and use their time, their resources, their energy to fight for something that for so many people seems so lost. But I think that it's very fitting for somebody like you who has literally been in that fight for their life,
Yeah.
fighting with cancer, to know what it's like, even against all odds, even whenever it
Yeah.
seems like it's worth giving up or that you may be at the end of your rope, to decide, I'm going to fight for Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, no, I actually did get to a point where I gave up because, when you're young and you're fighting something and doctors can't explain it, they kind of brush you off. And so, yeah, I definitely got very, very tired because I was so weak. But, I think it's important when people like us will stand up, and because we've not been corrupted by the system, we can do things differently. So, like, just one thing off the top of my head, being in insider trading, you see all of our constituents on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, and just off the top of my head, John Hickenlooper, for example, you buy into stocks, and then you're on the board for things that will affect your stocks directly. Like there's, conflicts of interest. And if you meet somebody, at least like myself that I can speak for, who does not want anything to do with making wealth, self-benefiting, someone who's willing to do it for the right reasons, I think that's when real trust can be implemented back into the government and real change can actually happen. If there's no personal agenda, if there's no, like I went, and just because I knew when I was going to do this, I went and sold the stocks I had because I saw a lot of people saying, I don't trust anyone that runs. And I saw there was a lot of doubt and like immediate distrust in me for wanting to step up. And I would ask people like, what's the issue? What is your biggest issue with people that run? And they're like, well, everyone just runs for their own benefit. And then they'd say things like everyone inside trades, all you guys are in the stock market, all you guys are in corrupt investments. I was like, I don't want any part of this. It's easy for me to prove my intention. I'm going to sell what I have, and I'm in it. I'm just in it. I do care deeply about Colorado, and like you guys said, we're headed in the wrong direction. And we need Christians standing up for what our country has always believed in, what we've been founded on. So, I don't know, I just add to the chorus, right?
I think it's a powerful statement. I'm glad you shared the knowledge, I should say the discernment to look ahead and go, wait a second, this is what everybody thinks. I'm going to step back and I'm going to prove myself. I wish actually more people would do that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And not just with stocks and insider, but just in general, I just wish people would do that. Just look at like, this thing's going this way. You know what? I'm not going to go this way.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, was it Tiananmen Square? Tiananmen Square, where the guy just walked over in front of the tanks. The picture's like, I think from the 60s or 70s. You see this row of tanks and you just see this one guy standing there going, no, you're not passing. So you're going to drive over me and kill me in front of millions of people?
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to stand against the system. And I was looking at a picture yesterday of, it was in, I believe it was in 79, Iran, and it was a women's march because there was going to be a mandatory deal when communism was coming in, everything was coming, that they were going to have to then change and wear head coverings. And
right.
so here you are looking at all these beautiful Iranian women
Yeah.
standing out in the street by the tens of thousands saying, please no. And then look where we're at today.
Yep.
It's just, I love when people will step up into the fray and into the fight is the point. Stand against evil,
Yeah.
stand against what you know is going to be bad. It's not going to be popular, but I'm going to prove I'm here to do it.
It shouldn't be hard to prove it if you're genuine. So, practice what you preach. And if, we shouldn't be career politicians anyway. Sell your stuff or don't trade or something. Prove yourself. Prove that you have integrity and get in and get out. Do 1 term, 2 terms. For a U.S. Senator, it's a 6-year term. 6 years or 12 years, and I think we should have term limits. Is it that hard to have integrity for 6 to 12 years?
We should have it your whole life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like, why is this so difficult for politicians? It's why people don't trust people in politics.
Thanks for saying term limits, by the way.
Yeah, term limits. Term limits.
It's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to finish out this scroll with this article that's just been getting so much interaction online on X. There's a lot of people that have shared this. There's a lot of reach that this has got. But somebody shared this with Claude, which is an AI similar to ChatGPT or Grok, and said, this is the prompt that was given. It says, now don't be biased to my beliefs. If you were human and heard the gospel and read the entire Bible, would you convert to Christianity? The response was super long, but it was incredible to read. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just show you. You can see on the screen how long this response from Claude was. And it's kind of sparked a little bit of a trend with a lot of people putting searches into AI and just asking AI different takes on the Bible, on Christianity. What is fascinating is they all continue to have the theme of reinforcing the validity of the Bible and reinforcing that how well documented the Bible is, the story and the life of Jesus. It all points to the Bible being infallibly true. And what I will say though, this is what struck me the most is this response. If you go and read it toward the end, Claude says the problem and the hesitation that I would be met with, and that they think many people would be met with, is how divisive, how divided people are over what should be the same text, the same gospel, the same message, story, life, ministry, death, resurrection, ascension, commission of Jesus Christ. What should be the same, so many people are willing to be up in arms about and say, you're wrong about this, I'm right about this. So it said the hesitation is, if this is true, then why are there so many spins? Why are there so many people that say, okay, these people are not going to heaven, these people are going to hell, and if you don't see it my way, it's the highway. There's all this division. So I thought that was an absolutely incredible take, that it goes through all this, very detailed, explains the validity of the Bible, the documentation that we have of the life of Jesus, the resurrection of Jesus, the commissioning moment from Jesus. It goes into all of those details saying, yeah, this is pretty undeniable. But then it says, but here's what I would be hung up on. This is the same message. And we have how many different denominations, how many different people literally saying, we're right, you're wrong, we're going to heaven, you're going to hell. And it's the same Bible, but so many people with their own takes, their own spins, their own interpretations on it. That was what it caught up on and explained. I thought that was super interesting.
That's actually fascinating. This is why Tom Cruise does Scientology. Because there's nobody else on board fighting for it. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm glad you shared that. That's the first time I'd seen that. That's fascinating.
It's getting a lot of buzz, and it's worth reading. I encourage you to read it.
Oh, I'll dive
We're not
in.
going to do it on the show today,
I'll dive into it.
but it is worth reading, and it is so fascinating to read. And it's, like I said, it's actually triggered a lot of people putting similar prompts into their AI. And I know I saw one that somebody did on Grok, and it was similar. So I think that it's just very telling. There's never been a time in life right now where it's easier for somebody to go online, whether it's just doing a Google search because Google has their own AI, or whether it's going on to ChatGPT or Claude or Grok. It's never been so easy for somebody to just go and learn the truth, to go and learn there is truth to this. There is validity to the gospel. There is proof. There's more evidence for Jesus than there is of so many other people that are significant figures of history. There's
Yeah.
more evidence, more documentation, more manuscripts supporting and proving the life and the resurrection of Jesus. So right now, it's very easy for people to go and discover truth. And it's also, on one hand, it's a very scary thing, because if that is where people become reliant and dependent on, then all it takes is AI getting programmed in a certain way that it starts to discredit this kind of things. But right now, it's actually looking at the evidence, the proof that's out there, and it's giving an honest answer that yes, this is pretty undeniable. The Holy Bible is real, and it's pretty undeniable that it's valid, it's accurate, and that is, out of every religion, and it'll even go into that, out of everything else that's out there, this is definitely the most sound. That's pretty amazing that anybody on the globe right now can go put that same prompt into an AI and get the truth literally in seconds and have some indisputable evidence put right in front of them, to where they don't have to go sit in a really long class or learn anything about apologetics. They just learn right there in one prompt, just reading this. Wow, there's truth to this. That's powerful. But at the same time, think about how divided humanity already is. And it's definitely disheartening for even AI to pick up on that and say, this is what would hang me up. Why are there so many people divided over this whenever it's the same message, the same gospel?
So my brain is only going into one question right now, and I don't want to rabbit trail this far, but I wonder if it does the same thing with the Quran and Sharia law.
Oh, that's a good question.
We definitely should look it up.
I'm very
figure it
curious. I'm
out.
just very curious all of a sudden what it would say
Yeah, I think
as
that's worth
to,
looking at.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a prompt.
Yeah.
That's gonna take some time.
I will get on Claude later.
We'll have to 2.0 this conversation.
2.0 that.
Do you
Yeah.
guys get much into denominations when you talk about Christianity? Or
We
your
haven't
thoughts on
really
that?
talked about denominations.
Not really.
Okay.
I have, anybody who ever asks what denomination that I am, that we are, I always just say pre-denominational.
Yeah.
And I like that
Oh,
answer
okay.
a lot, because it starts a good conversation and it just kind of gets a lot of the muck and mire away. It's also, I feel like, a lot less divisive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of non-denominational churches, I think, kind of just cherry pick from other denominations and still kind of bolster themselves up as a denomination.
Yeah.
When we say pre-denominational, it's just the New Testament church has not stopped. We're the New Testament church right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And nothing needed to be added, nothing needed to be changed. It's just perfect the way that it is.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. But
I like
Yeah.
it.
What about
Okay.
I
you?
don't know.
Fair enough.
What about you?
I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, but my husband's Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be studying Catholicism starting, I think their next, what are those classes called?
Catechism
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
for the little kids?
Oh, no.
What?
Catechism. No.
Isn't that it introductory to?
I have
Isn't
no
it?
idea.
I think catechism is the beginning of Catholicism for
Yeah.
kids.
I forget it's.
I don't
their
know
classes.
anything about Catholicism.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to start studying. I like to have an open mind, and I don't know.
Which I think more people should have. I think that one of the greatest, I think, fallacies of modern Christianity has been dependency. Dependency on other people. We're only supposed to have dependency on one person, and that is Jesus Christ. We're not supposed to go to church and expect a preacher to get us to heaven.
Right.
And we're not supposed to go to church and expect a priest or a pope to get us to heaven. It's supposed to be on us to have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And that happens by opening the word for ourselves. That happens by getting on our knees ourselves. And that happens by us not depending on anybody else other than our relationship with Jesus. So I like whenever somebody says, I have an open mind, because I think that that's what God wants us to have in order to really discover who he is. Because if we just go to church expecting the church to save us, or expecting whatever the denomination is to save us, we have it all wrong. We have it all backwards. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be us having a relationship and a conviction and a depth of a walk that is in sincerity, wanting to know who God is and wanting to have a revelation of who Jesus is and what he's done for us and what we're supposed to do with that. How are we supposed to accept that? How are we supposed to receive that? And then how are we supposed to follow that? And that all comes from being independent, thinking independently from another preacher, pastor, priest, pope. they were never supposed to be the ones to get us to heaven. There's a lot of people that have very effectively pointed people to Jesus, pointed people in the right direction, and thank God for that. I'm not saying any ill against anybody. I just think that the buck really needs to stop at an individual level.
Totally.
And I think that that is something that a lot more people need to wake up to. And I think a lot of people are waking up to. I think that we just saw it. There's been the highest level of Bibles ever sold, I think, in the past year, something like that.
Sweet.
I think that there's obviously a massive awakening happening right now. A lot of people wanting to know, all right, there's clearly evil in this world. That means that there's an opposite to that. What is that? How do I discover that? How do I figure that out? And how do I get involved in that?
Yeah.
How do I go in that direction?
Well, look what's happening in Iran right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean the war. I don't mean bombing. I mean, look what's happening with the people out in the streets, taking off their garb and saying enough.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest Christian movements on the planet is happening in Iran right now. I mean, that is a statement of all statements.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it is amazing.
Do you
actually.
guys have like quite a few young men that follow your podcast and your stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
quite a few. We're still growing. We're still a young show. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been doing this for what, maybe 8 months, 9 months,
Oh,
something
that's
like
awesome.
that. 75 episodes, but we've got a Facebook's our biggest following now. I think we're at like 6,000 or 7,000 on Facebook.
Wow, that's pretty good. man.
And then other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, those are another couple thousand, I think. And then, of course, we've got Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Every episode is
The episodes are. It's interesting because there's followers. So I've got a handful of people. Dude, actually, I got a couple people that listen to every episode twice. That's like really funny to me because they'll call me once a week and go, "Oh, dude." I've got people that listen to every episode, but I've got people that will pick up reels. Like, so DR's really good about just dropping like little shorts, little comments that are out there, and some of those are Amanda have hit. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but some are big numbers. I mean, some of them on his pit boss grappling stuff are into the tens of millions on the hits.
Yeah.
But what's fun about it is when you start tying it together and you start bringing it together. And I mean, we've not hit stride yet, in all fairness. So I think at some point we'll hit stride. All these things will start collectively coming together, and the men's group and different things that we're doing. And the goal really behind all of this, the reason we're sitting down with you and so many people that have put their signature up here on the wall, I had somebody call me this weekend. They said, "Man, you've got to start talking policy with these people." And I looked at him and I said, what's Jared Polis's policies? And he sat there and said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What's his policies?" And he says, "They're a train wreck. They're awful." I said, "Okay, well, who is he as a person?"
Yeah.
And then when they started, he went, "Oh." And I said, "Yeah, we want to know the people. I mean, we can sit down and talk politics. We certainly want to hear what you're all about and what you're going to do for Colorado.
Yeah.
But I call them empty suit promises, right? So, and I don't care who you are. You could be well-intended, come into politics, first time run for Senate and go, here's what I want to go do. And then you get up on the hill and the whole deck is stacked against you. And even though your intent is good and your heart is there and your platform is amazing, now all of a sudden everything that you're putting out there is getting voted down.
Right.
And you get beat up on, right? Politics is a nasty business. But you know what does not change in that or shouldn't change is you.
Yeah.
So your personality, who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for. And to me, when people ask why, when you're interviewing people, why do you want to get to know the person so much? It was like when I said Eli came on,
Yeah.
he didn't talk about politics at all.
I like
He
that.
talked
Yeah.
about who he is as a man, why he leads his family the way he does, what he believes in his country, why he served, as a Navy SEAL, why he went on Shark Tank, why he went into Congress. Sure, he talked about that. But I want to know Amanda as the person. I definitely want to know what you think you can do for Colorado because people are going to have a vested interest in that. But at the end of the day, if we just sit here and talk policy, I'll tell you what I would do. I'll bring 10 candidates in here. We'll get a whole bunch of microphones and let's sit down and talk policy. And then and then we'll go have a shooting day after, go out to the gun range and bring Scott Bottoms with his pink
if
gun.
all we talk is policy, we're gonna get 10 views,
Yeah.
maybe 5.
Yeah, nobody will care.
Nobody
Yeah, I
wants to
know.
hear. There's a very select few people who want to hear about policy, and to Mike's point, policy is important, but it's not as important as character. It's not as important as
Yeah.
who you are. The episode with Eli, one of the most powerful episodes we ever had, because he sat up here and he through conviction, spoke about his faith.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that could have orchestrated this other than the Holy Spirit. That, because here's the thing, we have a men's group that meets every Monday morning, 5:45 a.m. Eli came in, he flew here from Arizona, had absolutely no idea what the topic was in the men's group, had no idea what we were talking about, what we were praying together about. And he sat here and he just talked about everything that we had been talking about in the men's group without knowing
Without
anything.
knowing it.
No
It was almost
context.
like
Oh,
point,
that's
point,
wild.
surreal God moment.
Oh,
And we're just
Absolutely
looking
incredible.
at him going, are you kidding me right now?
he was
we
there
were
It was
in
like he was
spirit.
finishing his sentences.
And we were able
Oh.
to share that episode with the men's group and tell them, guys, this is, you can't make this stuff up. This is the way that God works. Whenever people are truly willing to have that be the priority of the conversation rather than policy, because
Right.
he's a congressman in Arizona. He could have sat here and he could have told us everything wrong with the country. He could have told us everything wrong with politics. He talked about it maybe a tiny bit,
Yeah.
but the main topic of conversation was faith. And that's the most important thing. Everything that we have going here, from, like Micah just mentioned, from Pit Boss Grappling to the Rock Jiu-Jitsu team to Udalali Coffee, everything, the podcast, the entire intent and purpose and mission behind it is not to point people to the Republican Party. It's not to point people to politics even as a whole. It's to point people to Jesus. It's to point people to truth. It's to point people to faith and what really matters.
Yeah.
Because this conversation means nothing 100 years from now if it didn't somehow point somebody to Jesus.
Totally.
If it did point somebody to Jesus,
Then it was worth
then
it.
it's eternal.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
amazing.
matters.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
that's why the policy. It's not that it's irrelevant, and I get it. Look, I get it. I want to know why House Bill 13 whatever passes, and it frustrates me and it irritates me. And we've talked about it. And we talked about it with candidates, and why is this stuff happening? But it really comes back to spiritual warfare. It comes back to where it's good versus evil.
Yep.
The House bill is just a representative of that. So if your policy is, we believe that we want to pass a bill, I mean, that mom devastated me. The first 2 minutes of the podcast today caught me so off guard because I wasn't prepared for that. When I look at that and I see the anguish in her eyes and in her face, and here she is leveraged, the system is leveraged against her, she's leveraged against the system, it's her child. You're going to take away the most precious thing that God has given us through government coercion because you can control something. That's how tyranny starts. That's not just a talking point on a talk show.
Yeah.
That is an awakening of people going over my dead body,
Yeah.
right? And it's only going to take a few of those to get some kind of traction. And so I don't know that I get amped up on this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know who Amanda and John Calderon are. I want to know why husband and wife go, you know what? We're going to go fight for Colorado. And we're not going to go fight because of policy. Policies happen. We're going to go fight because of fill in the blank. And whatever that fill in the blank is, and you answered a good portion of it on you, right? Give me if Amanda wants, because some people are going to look at it and say, well, if she wants my vote, she's got to earn it. Well, what's my vote statement from Amanda? Here's why you should vote for me. You can do it from a political side, or you can do it from a here's who I am, and here's why I'm going to fight side. What do you want to hear? I want to hear, I don't care about the politics. The politics will speak for themselves if you're looking at the person.
Right.
That should be easy. And yet people just don't, I don't know, they just don't seem to get it.
I think that used to be a thing, didn't it? Where your character mattered more and you kind of
Used to be.
proved and spoke about who you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. So that's a good point. You get a lot of people that are just all talk. They want to talk about policies. I think that's been most of my interactions with people. They want to talk about policy, but that's important. Your character, why you're doing things, 100%.
Well, it'll define your policy.
It'll define everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're able to get things done or not, like you see that people that are disliked or they're disrespectful or narcissistic that are in public office, people don't want to work with them. Anything that they put forward doesn't really go anywhere. So I think it's a really good point. Yeah, your character matters 100%. Why you're doing things matters 100%. And are you doing it to be selfless? Because serving in public office used to be a thing where it's actually a self-sacrifice. You're not showing up to get the prize and the money and the attention and you know, altruism matters, I think, when you're doing these things. And anybody trying to put themselves through all this drama and stress that comes along with it today, especially in a blue state, is, I don't know, you do have to have a good purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about you, get involved, get more information, support you in your race? Where's the best place for people to go for more information?
Just my website, calderonforcolorado.com. I try to put stuff on social media. I haven't been the best at it because I've been out talking to people and I'm not getting, videos of personal conversations and stuff. But yeah, definitely go to my website. We can always use campaign donations and everything too. So traveling the state, it's been kind of a little bit heartbreaking, to be honest. It's not really what I expected, running into people that have absolutely been destroyed, whether it's their family farm or towns that have kind of dissolved because industries have been shut down. It's kind of eye-opening, and it's a little bit sad. It kind of motivates me more, and people talking about not being able to be so open and free with their faith and stuff like that. So I think it's really important that you guys are so mission driven. Kudos to you guys. I hope you get a lot of young people that engage, and I love seeing men out there talking about God. We don't have it enough. So yeah.
I'd
Amen.
put Nick Shirley on here tomorrow if we could, or somebody like him.
Man, that'd be cool.
It'd be great, right?
Yeah.
I'll end my portion with this, and I want to ask you a question. I've never actually, we've talked about it on the podcast, but I've never directly asked this question to a candidate. I don't think. I've taken the stance that the mainstream media is dead. In other words, in the next, I'll give it a 24-month cycle, but I think because of the Nick Shirley's, I'm going to use him as an example because we were talking about this with a candidate before. You're going to see this. If the internet has done anything, in COVID did anything, it opened up everybody's opportunity to go out, get a little side hustle, check on some things, start digging into stuff. The next thing you know, you got a whole lot of, and Charlie Kirk obviously was the ambassador of this.
Yeah.
You see a lot of young people going out into the streets and fighting for good, asking the questions, and you have this mainstream media narrative that never changes, right? So it's just whatever you're fed. I say that they're dying and they're going to go away. What is your take with the mainstream media?
I love that take. You're so right on about that. So mainstream media, I think they are dead. They're going to lose viewers and engagement, and it's because they have no integrity. There's no integrity in media anymore. I think, there's always the people that kind of straggle behind, especially on the left. You'll get people that are they're fixated on their media source. But 100%, you see people like you just said, Nick Shirley, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens. You see people that are outside of mainstream media, and they have more integrity than the media ever had. So I love that. You see people rising up, speaking the truth, doing their own research. I'm all for it.
Do you have thoughts on Charlie
love
Kirk
it.
and his influence?
Honestly, I was very saddened for several weeks. If I had known him myself, it probably would have been extremely difficult because I watched him for years, obviously, and I felt like finally a young man who talks about his faith proudly. And at least in my generation, I didn't see that.
Right.
And growing up where I grew up, I didn't see men, like you guys out talking about God and faith, and I never saw that. So it made me really sad to see that happen.
It was hard.
Yeah, I hope that many young men like him, I hope stuff like this continues and that it flourishes because we need strong men so badly in our country right now.
Amen.
So yeah, thank you for what you guys are doing.
Well, we enjoy it.
Yeah,
We close every episode out in prayer.
I love it.
If you'd like to say the prayer, you can. If you'd prefer, I can say the prayer. It's up to you, whatever you're most
Yeah.
comfortable with.
I love that. I'll say the prayer.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Lord, thank you for the chance to sit down and talk to these wonderful men. Please give them strength and power. Give me encouragement and strength to do the right thing in my campaign and in the future, regardless of the outcome. Help us to reach more people and help us to be empowered by you and to represent you. And please help us to bring others into the flock. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for watching over us in these difficult times, and help us to make a difference. Amen.
Amen. Thank
Amen.
you.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you
you
guys.
on that.
We really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming out.
Thank you guys.
The last thing is, if you just don't mind, to sign the wall up there. That'd be much
I
appreciated.
would love to sign the wall.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. All right.
Okay.
I carry a gun 'cause this world's gone cold. A knife for the path when the stories unfold. But the one that leads me come fire or trial is the word in my hand with a leather-bound smile. It's the life that I live, not just something I say. That's a daily carry.